Everybody, welcome back to the channel. This time I'm making a vertical video just to check it out how that is for all the mobile users out there, and seeing if I going forward want to make videos in this format or not. Today I want to cover something interesting. I got an Xmas V3 Pro here, and I got my Crafty Plus here. Stork and Bickles. I do vape dry herbs or flower, whatever you want to call it. So I got two dry herb vapes. I just want to do a quick comparison for you out there to want to know a little bit more or seeking for this type of comparison video. So the Xmas V3 Pro I had first. It was my first dry herb vape. It works decent. It has a removable 18650 battery, so it's easy to keep going. I can get 5-6 sessions out of one battery charge, so that's pretty darn good as well. Whereas only Crafty Plus, I only get 3 bowls before I have to recharge it. 3 bowls max, and then it's done. The mouthpiece is absolute trash in my personal opinion. The magnets fell out, and the heat warped the plastic slightly, so the magnets don't fit in properly anymore. It also magnetized the base here, so you have magnets pushing away from each other when I put the magnets back in, so it didn't work anymore. So I'm gonna get myself a other mouthpiece, a glass mouthpiece, and toss this way. This is trash in my personal opinion, but the thing itself works pretty good. Sometimes I get like a sensor error and I have to restart it again, so I don't know if it's starting to die on me or just that's something that I will have to deal with the rest of the lifespan of this thing. It's a bit dirty, there's a bit of flour residue in there. I don't use capsule vape or dosing capsules in this particular vape. It works pretty good. So actually I'm not gonna smoke in this video because or vape in this video because I have tons of things to do and it's 11 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I need to be at my best. I don't like the draw resistance on this vape. It's really restricted. I don't like it at all. But the convection works really good. Get a nice buzz out of your medication. Yeah, pretty decent. I still use it whenever I'm on the third bowl of the Crafty and I have to recharge it. I switch over to this guy, and this is just the backup emergency vape. But this is my preferred vape. It's so much easier to use. The draw resistance is so much lower, it's almost non-existing. It's like sipping on a pack of apple juice. Very easy to use. The vapor and the medication, the feeling of it is different between the two. This one is very heavy and roasty, smoky, and the AVB or the ABV or AVB already vaped bud or something. Is very dark brown and smells strongly to coffee, really strongly to coffee. It stinks. With this guy, the AVB is on the lighter color, like a light brown, and it does hardly no smell to the AVB, so I really prefer this. And also I taste it. It tastes much nicer. The terpeness is much cleaner and nicer throughout the entire session with the Crafty Plus versus this one. The first few hits are nice. After that it becomes really stinky, roasty, burny, uncomfortable on the throat. This does give me the typical throat tickle, so I do have to cough from this one. But it's so much easier and cleaner to use. I use dosing capsules to keep that chamber spick and span clean. What I did do is I don't have the right filter in now. I replaced the bottom filter here. The one that comes with the Crafty Plus is so coarse that all the little flower bits fly up to this cooling unit, and it just gets stuck in there. Really disgusting. Now I don't have that, so that's fixed. So I recommend you do that. But between the two, I love this one so much more. It really feels like a session just sipping on this thing. I get 4 or 5 minutes out of a session on average. I do temp step, but I only do one temp step because the default temperature is set to 185 or 190 degree on this guy, and I do one temp step to maximum heat, I believe, at 410 degree. No, what is it? 220 degree. I say it correct, like, yeah. Sorry, Fahrenheit degree. Keep mixing them up. This thing is absolutely useless to me. I never use it. It's kind of annoying. I don't know if I'm just gonna leave it out at some point because it just doesn't do anything for me. I don't use it. But yeah, it's there to cover sort of the charging port. Cleaning the two, between the two, this one is easier to clean. This one is a bit of a pain to clean because it has so many nooks and crannies, which this doesn't have. This mouthpiece is really easy, but I'm gonna replace that for the glass mouthpiece, which supposedly be far superior to this standard design. So I'm curious to try it out. Maybe that changes my overall perspective on this vape as well. But for now, I'm not super keen on it. I also feel this Crafty Plus is way more consistent throughout the entire session. Roughly the same amount of vapor and taste, whereas this one just changes throughout the session quite dramatically. In terms of taste, vapor, everything, the whole experience. It's rough. It's a good vape if you want to get a fast buzz and just a few puffs, because you can use it in on-demand mode, which I honestly also don't like on this thing too much, honestly. The on-demand, I do think it will ruins a lot of the THC in your flower with that every time you do a puff, because it has to heat up the chamber, and I think you lose some THC during that process when you don't use it. This one is just so consistent in use and flavor and taste. It definitely gives a lighter buzz, more clean, more clinical, more clean of a buzz, a very pleasant positive buzz. This one can be a bit more heavy hitting, but it is also a bit in a more negative sense because the whole experience is, to me, it's not that great. It's just a bit burny, tastes bad. It's just smoky, stinky. I don't know. It's just a personal thing. Maybe it's how I use it. Maybe you will say it's completely wrong how I use it, but it's just not a big fan of it. I've been using this guy for over a year though. This one I got for a couple of months now, and I love it. I love the size, the way to use it. It's just very convenient overall. I don't know if I'm gonna get the Mighty Plus as my home dry herb vape. I think I'm gonna do a Tiny Mite for that, because they highly regard that as a very good contender to the Crafty and the Mighty Plus. I don't want to have two of the almost identical experience, because the Crafty Plus and the Mighty Plus more or less give the identical experience. This is my outdoorsy vape, so if I go play paintball or cycling, like as in fix gear or whatever, I take this guy with me or go to my friends. This go with me with the dosing capsules, and it's good to go. I don't really have to think about it. I like the lights as well. When it's off, it's on, it's green. When you suck on it to get the vapor, it turns to red to reheat, and then I stop, hold my breath for a few sec, breathe out. This thing is already heated up again, back to green. I know I can go have puffies again, and it's just optimal. It's optimal use of the heating process and the inhaling and exhaling of the vapor. With this thing, it's just, you don't really know when it's reheating. Well, it actually does. It does give a message for it. The startup process of heating up initially, this thing is way faster to heat up than this thing, almost 1 minute. Sometimes you really think, are you gonna heat up at all? Why is it taking so darn long? And then suddenly it pops up way slower in heating up versus this guy. So this is of course because the on-demand option you got there. If I make one recommendation to you on my personal use case and on my personal preferences between the two, I would 100% say Crafty Plus. Way more, not way more. It's a definite more pleasant experience in using than this guy. But I don't rule this guy out. Maybe in a bong, maybe in some sort of glass contraption, it might be completely super duper nice to use. But as is, like this, not a huge fan of it. Not a huge fan of it. But yeah, doesn't break the bank. 90 bucks versus 200 bucks. So big price difference there. If you want to see more of this kind of content, let me know. I know it's completely different from what I normally do, but who cares? Take care. Bye.